We're all looking for meaning and purpose in this world, and if we're in a room and he says, "I've chosen you, I love you, you're special," you've suddenly found meaning and purpose in life. And that's why it alters people, and that's why often they don't question the experience.
I actually saw a show that it said like the debate was reopened about whether mentally ill people should be able to own guns, which I didn't know was debatable. Like, one guy even said, like, I don't think the founding fathers wanted people to lose their rights just because they had a mental illness, which I guess sounds like it makes sense until you remember we're talking about the 1700s, when the most popular treatment for schizophrenia was like fire. Like just lots of fire. They didn't have Lexapro, you know? As if that wasn't weird enough, Texas just passed a law allowing people to carry guns into mental institutions. That's a real thing. Not like a joke that we wrote. Like, that happens now. You know? Here's a fun fact about me. When I was a kid, I was pretty depressed, and I spent some time in a mental institution twice. None of those people, including me, should ever be allowed near a gun. If I owned a gun, you know, I'd have to buy a new TV every time the Knicks lost. Like, the reason Obama's going straight to an executive order is because Congress refused to even pass a law banning people on the no-fly list from buying a gun. But, like, shouldn't the gun list be the stricter list? Like, that means somebody out there is being told, like, sorry, sir, we don't trust you to fly to Cleveland, but if you want to buy this assault rifle and take the bus.
Mind manipulation is something that is very real. It happens all the time because it is, in fact, one of the most powerful ways to control people's thoughts and opinions. There are so many organizations, institutions, corporations, and individuals who would love to change what you think because they will get an advantage from it. This is why it is more important to familiarize yourself with these mind control techniques so you are able to recognize when they are played on you. Here are 7 sneaky secrets mind manipulators use to influence other people. 1. Making people trust and like you is easy if you establish similarities. That means essentially that they somehow create the impression that they are like you. They can do this with a method called pacing, where they mirror your body language, certain expressions that you use, your intonation patterns, and so on. 2. If you give people a reason why they should do something, they are much more inclined to do it. It doesn't even have to be a good reason. Any reason will do, because that is the way that our minds work. 3. You can secretly hypnotize people in the course of a normal conversation. They will not even know what is happening. With the use of hypnotic language patterns, you can then implant hypnotic commands into their minds. 4. You can get people to do the most unbelievable things that they would not otherwise do if you can get them to just make a small commitment toward that action first. It is important that you do not try to get them to commit to the big thing first, but instead just get them to do something that's seemingly irrelevant. This way, you create a kind of psychological momentum that takes on a life of its own. 5. It is more powerful to manipulate their emotion than to argue with logic. Most of the decisions we make are based off of the emotions that drive us, and we then use logic to justify these actions. That is just human nature. 6. If you can show that what you want them to do is what other people who are like them also did, they are much more inclined to do it. Even better, if you can show them that the people who have what they want did the same thing that you want them to do, they will be eager to do it too. And 7. If you can create a perception of authority, they will be much more inclined to follow your suggestions. One example is if you can show that you have been published in the media, established yourself as an expert. Another kind of proof of authority is the academic title or impressive clothing, and so on. None of these are revolutionary or mind-blowing, but combine these elements together and you get a powerful method to influence and manipulate other people's minds, especially like they did with the QAnon conspiracy.
This is like a conspiracy website. It's not a conspiracy, it's real. Keep going down, there's video. Now the world will never know the truth.
If only there was a place where you could make any outrageous claim you want with absolutely no proof, and millions of people would accept it as fact.
That's it. Thanks for taking that block off the internet, Dad.
We're continuing Awareness Week today with 4 speakers who'd like to talk to you about bullying.
Who's familiar with social puppeteering? Wow, that's surprising.
Okay, well, in simplest terms, it's manipulating others for your own amusement. Hijacking someone's reality to feel powerful.
Here's an example of something I did. In the 6th grade, I paid like 80 kids $1 to go up to this kid, Nathan, and say, "Hey, nice hat." So what's the problem? Nathan wasn't wearing a hat. If 80 kids say you're wearing a hat, you start thinking, maybe I'm wearing a hat. And watching him wrestle with that made me feel good. I took the most valuable thing he had, his mind. That's the idea behind social puppeteering.
I mean, guys, if you get into this, it will take over your life. I spent thousands of dollars. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and my cousin. Well, I hired day laborers to build an enormous replica of his room in an airplane hangar. So he woke up in a 3-story bed the length of an Olympic swimming pool, thinking he's now half an inch tall. I mean, I went all out. I got the people who made the Jurassic Park dinosaurs to build a giant animatronic Daddy Longlegs he had to fight. Kid peed himself and hid in a giant Lego for hours. It was pretty great, but also wrong.
It really will ruin your life, gang. My brother doesn't speak to me because I vampired him. Well, in a nutshell, I hired this weird albino dude to bite him and run away. And a week later, I start sprinkling a small amount of Molly into his dinner every night. So at night, he feels amazing, but during the day, he feels a little bummed out because the Molly was wearing off. So he started craving the night, because that's when he got the Molly. The nighttime became his magical time. He was convinced that he was a vampire. He bit our dad. It could happen to anyone.
Don't be a puppet. Learn more at www.stopsocialpuppeteering.org.
But I wanted to get through to you. The reason that this is very, very strange and wrong is because the timestamps do verify something. And the live video, that, by the way, is saved on the YouTube channel 0 Hour 1, and you can find him on Twitter. You can just go to UNIRach TV, and you'll see 0 Hour being retweeted on my Twitter. Go to his Twitter, okay, to find the main video. I know I talked about this earlier, but this is another part of it. When did the government leaker ever have to agree with the pamphlet in order for us to believe it? Because that's where we are, guys. And I know, watch. So I did some QAnon videos, and right here is where I said, you know what? This Q thing, I can't tell if it's real. I can't tell if it's fake by what we have on 8chan. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a Q post and research it out in the way we do all our researching stuff, see what we find. And I did it with my Sidley Austin videos. They weren't that popular, but they were big for me. 15K views, 10K views, 10K, 30K. You know, this one had nothing to do with Q, by the way. But here's the deal. Back then, those were significant views for me when I was doing, before this all happened. But, so, I started, though, to see, look, right here, QAnon, it finally happened. it got 43K views, but it wasn't saying anything nice. Because look at the title up here, Rise of the Q-tubers. What did I see? I started seeing the truth and telling people about it. Okay? Let's see where it happens. QAnon community split, claimed ID, WikiLeaks and Assange. This is where all the Q-tubers, or all the Q viewers, they unsubscribed from me. Every video I did about Q after the hack, which is this, new QAnon original trip code hacked, details on stolen trip, I came out right then telling people the information that I got was that QAnon was hacked by who? The Bakers. The QAnon movement. This is not the truth. The case is that Jones did not have to steal this. The truth is the majority of people that came into this was because of InfoWars. The long and secret InfoWars against Q and how he stayed alive. You really need to know this article towards QAnon because Q told them to. This is a Q post where he points all of his followers to this one thing by Serial Brain, of course. A lot of people, I like Serial Brain's work. I'm going to go look him up. Oh, look, I can pay to have him give me analyzation of things. And this is exactly how it all links together. That's all for later, though. But what you need to know is through the Great Awakening board on Reddit, which used to be the CBTS_stream board on Reddit before it was torn down, they blamed Jerome Corsi and Jordan Sather and other people. They talk about basically how, you know, Alex Jones wants to use Corsi to steal the audience. And my whole thing is, why would he have to do that when in the very beginning, all Jones had to do was just not have them on? Because look, that's where the whole trend came from. It was just barely anything before that. In fact, if he would have the time I direct you to a Twitter page, mine, UNIRach TV, and let you know if you want to see every single piece of evidence, everything we found, you can just scroll down right there. But this is the time to mention that other YouTubers, Anons, and Twitter tweeters have gone through exhaustive investigation to show that this group of bakers is not only controlling every major source of QAnon information from the different websites that push QAnon posts, like qanon.pub, to the apps that displayed QAnon information, to the subreddits, but that they also, sometime since QAnon started posting, have been posting as QAnon themselves. This is not a rumor. It is a fact. Even admitted and recorded by them on their YouTube channel, Patriot Soapbox. It's accusing me of lying about the fact that they said themselves that they got $1 million donation. Now, I said this on my show, UNIRach 2, that I didn't believe in the $1 million donation. But I said they were probably saying that for some reasons. I'm not going to go into that here. It's on my other channel. Basically, I will put the link in the About section for all data that is from the Baker reveal to the CBTS minutes. Now, you got to understand, I didn't write the CBTS